Hi, my name is Audrey Marie. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. We are gonna be covering the books I read in December and also jump into my January hopefuls. For December, I was in some sort of dark romance mood and I do not know why. That's what I was in the mood for, so that's what I was reading. First book that I got to was Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. It's been a while since I read a dark romance. I think the last one I read was back in, I think it was September, with Caught On by Nevessa Allen. So it'd been a while since I jumped back into a dark romance, and oh my god, I was not prepared for this book, and the contents of this book, not prepared whatsoever. A lot of the stuff I was very surprised with, especially the ice cream and the cannibalism. I was shocked by the plot twist at the end of the book. I should have seen it coming earlier on and I just did not see it. So I really enjoyed this book and everything that was in it. I liked how it wasn't a quick relationship between the two of them. It was a long relationship and it took a while for the two of them to get together. And there was like long time stamps between the two. Some of the moments in this book, so I thoroughly enjoyed how it was a longer time frame, because a lot of the times it's a short relationship between the two characters, and I loved how it took a couple years for the two of them to get together, and I thoroughly enjoyed how the author took the time with these two characters. I'm excited to pick up the next book in the series. I am so intrigued by the relationship between the next two because it was kind of hinted at in this book, so I'm super excited to continue in this world and Bryn Weaver's writing style and just the rest of her books in this series. The next 5 books that I read is technically in one book, but it's in a series and it's multiple books all together, and that would be the Mindfuck series. I finally got around to reading this. I really enjoyed the entire book. I was not expecting the revenge that was done at the end of this book for the entire town that Lana had lived in. They were surprised at all the dark stuff that went down and all the sketchy stuff. The entire town was so corrupted. I was just not prepared for that, but it was so good. I really enjoyed every single one of the books in this series. I still consider this reading 5 different books, even though it was all contained in one book. I think it was originally 5 different books together. But I really enjoyed my time while reading this entire series. So I really recommend, just be aware there is some deeper topics that get talked about in this. So just watch out for the trigger warnings. Just sure you know what you're getting into before you go into this. The complaint I'm gonna have with this book, and it's not even the contents of the book, it's this book that I bought. There's a little spot in here and you could see it in the spine. It's dark gray spot. I finally got to it. It's 184. I'm missing some of the pages. It goes from 184 to 187. I'm so mad about that. I noticed it in the spine early on and I was like, it's a little weird, no biggie. And then I got to the page got clipped off, and then the rest of the book, all the text are at an angle. Thankfully, that wasn't a couple pages earlier because I would have missed something so important in the book. I had to figure out what had happened in the past couple of pages just by context clues because I was missing some of the context. I'm so sad that I was not able to fully get everything in those pages because I really enjoyed the series and I was eating up every single thing about it, and it's definitely a series I will think about for a long time because of how much depth was in this, and it was so good, and I loved the ending of the book. So highly recommend. Even though it only looks like I read 2 books in December, I actually read 6. The books in the Mindfuck series were very short books. That's why they're able to fit in one, but I still count them all as separate books. I would say this was a pretty good reading month in my humble opinion. I don't know what was going on with me. I was just in the mood for dark romance, so I had my fill of it. Let's just say that. I'm now going into my January hopefuls. I'm gonna keep it down to 4. I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna read 5 different books and I'm a mood reader, so I might not even get around to the books that I'm reading. We'll have to wait and see. But the first book that I'm excited to talk about, I've already started and I've already made a bit of a dent in this book, which is her soul for revenge. So the second book in the Souls trilogy. I read the first one earlier in 2025, so I'm excited to finish this book. I'm already 150 pages through this book, and I'm thoroughly enjoying my time while reading it. I'm excited to get more into the depths of this book. It's kind of following my dark romance vibe that I was doing in December, so I'm following it into the next new year, into January, so thoroughly enjoying my time while reading this so far. I'm excited to get into the depths and more the darkness of the cult that's going on in this book and the revenge that Juniper wants to put onto the cult and the family that run everything that happened to her when she was younger, so also her brother. So I'm excited to finish this book and mark it off and finish off the trilogy at some point, and I probably will get to the third one maybe later this year around October to get to the spooky mood. The next book I'm gonna say is Throne of Glass or Assassin's Blade, one of the two. I need to figure out which order I'm gonna be reading these Throne of Glass series. I have the entire series now. I just need to figure out what order I'm gonna read them in. I've heard to start with Assassin's Blade, but I've also heard to start with Throne of Glass. I've heard conflicting info, so just let me know what you think of the order I should read these books based on your personal opinion. I'm excited to get into it. I want to read Sarah J. Maas's backlog, and that is my next stop because I've read the entire series of ACOTAR so far until she releases the next one, so I'm excited to jump into another series by her. Next book that I'm hopefully gonna get to in January at the moment is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I read the first book, which is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, earlier this year, and I absolutely loved that book. I even tapped it up because I loved it so much, and there were moments that I just needed to mark down. So I'm excited to continue the series of Araya and Rain. I'm so excited to get into it. I've wanted to go into it straight after the first one, but I kind of waited specifically because during that time frame was right when Esther was ending, and I wanted my full attention on not being stressed about finals and final presentation and the year ending. So I'm excited to get into it at some point this month and even mark it up as well. I loved everything about the first one. It was a 5-star. I'm excited to get into the next one because I have high hopes for this book. I'm so excited to get into this. For sure excited. The last book I'm gonna mention is Cash by Jessica Peterson. I've had this book for a little bit now. I'm excited to get into another cowboy country romance because I've read Elsie Silver's books, loved country aspect of it, and I was trying to find another author that might give me more of those vibes. So I'm excited to see if this gives me what I'm looking for, something similar to Elsie Silver. So the cover is gorgeous. I'm loving the art style, and so I'm excited to see what this year has in store and what this next month for sure holds for what I'm gonna jump into reading. So thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really appreciate you spending your evening or morning. But just thank you so much for clicking on this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're interested in seeing what else I post and what else I get up to in my life. So just check it out if you're interested in it. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye.